fell to the floor.
A man entered a California nightclub and killed at least 12 people late last night.
Utah Congress names a new Senate President and House Speaker following the midterm elections.
And Vineyard is named the fastest growing city in the state of Utah. Welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, November 8th. I'm Madeline Reber.
And I'm Adam Gibby. We start with developing news. A night of fun in Southern California turned into a tragedy in a single moment.
At least a dozen people are dead in Southern California after a gunman opened fire in a packed bar during college night. The gunman has been identified as Ian David Long. Paul Verkeman is in Thousand Oaks, California, and has the horrific details.
If you hear gunshots fired, one person advising there's a subject inside shooting.
Shortly before midnight in Thousand Oaks, California, a man armed with a gun entered the Borderline Bar and Grill.
473, we got multiple people down. We need a lot of ambulances fire.
In the hours immediately after the shooting, loved ones desperately seek answers.
I am very emotional right now. This is my firstborn son, and it's tough.
Jason Kaufman doesn't know where his son is.
Cody is a tough kid. What I'm scared of is Cody went towards the action and not away from the action.
The bar was hosting a college country night and was packed with college students.
So then our friends got the bar stools and they started slamming it against the window so we could get out. That's how we were able to get out. They broke the window.
At least a dozen people were killed, including Sheriff's Deputy Ron Hellis, who was one of the first to respond.
Gave his all, and tonight, as I told his wife, he died a hero. Because he went in to save lives, to save other people.
One woman is dead and a man is in critical condition from a reported stabbing in Salt Lake City late last night. Police say a fight began over some small items near a Dollar Tree on 500 North, 300 West, where a well-known transient camp is also located. Police say the two victims and the suspect are all homeless. Police describe the suspect as a balding Latino man with a tan jacket. The suspect is considered armed and dangerous. If anyone has any information about the stabbing, please contact police at 801-799-3000.
Hundreds of people gathered together late last night in honor of North Ogden Mayor who died in Afghanistan. Last night, flags were flown and candles lit at Weber High School in honor of Mayor Brent Taylor. Ben Dorger, photographer from the Standard Examiner, caught the moving pictures of the family and the crowd who came to honor the fallen father. Taylor's wife spoke at the event. She expressed gratitude for the outpour of sympathy and finished by saying, "God bless America." Taylor, who on his fourth tour to the Middle East, was killed last weekend. The incident created an outpour of sympathy from all over the world. The deceased mayor leaves behind his now widow and 7 children.
Utah is the fastest growing state in the nation according to the Census Bureau. And Vineyard is the fastest growing city in the state, according to the city. Newsline reporter Haley Davis found out how the city has ranked at the top of the state. Haley.
A few years ago, Vineyard was nothing more than fields and ruins of an old steel factory. Now look at this.
The city that used to be known only for its steel factory has now made quite a name for itself. City manager Jacob McCarg explains how the city literally was able to appear overnight.
We had a lot of infrastructure in place before the economy crashed in 2008, and so the growth happened really fast. We didn't need to build infrastructure, we could just add homes.
This addition has been great news to local construction companies.
Construction workers are much busier than they were a few years ago. A study showed here in Vineyard there are more than 15,000 new residents.
The new home construction is only the beginning. McCarg says Vineyard is teeing up for even more growth in the future.
We have a front runner station coming in that is in the design process right now and should take 12 months to complete. So that will be really exciting. A lot of people move to Vineyard because they like the fact that we could be a walkable community.
It's awesome. Definitely, you know, the kind of place where I feel like I can come back in 10 years and it'll be an entirely different place than it is right now. So there's lots of growth, lots of opportunity to, you know, have people move in, have new businesses come in, and really, I don't know, be a part of a new city.
The city manager and people who live in the city say it's an exciting time for Vineyard. We'll keep an eye on the city and see how it continues to grow in the next few years. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Haley Davis.
Midterm elections didn't just shake up Capitol Hill. Big changes were also made in the Utah State Senate. The new president of the Utah State Senate is expected to be Republican J. Stewart Adams from Davis County. The next Utah Speaker of the House of Representatives will most likely be Republican Brad Wilson from Draper. Although not official, Republican leaders are expected to meet about these changes in the next few weeks.
Ben McAdams leads the 4th House District race by 2.7 percentage points over Mia Love. This race has been highly controversial and is still too close to call.
You just can't trust Ben McAdams.
Mia's changed. She's gone Washington.
Votes in Salt Lake County and Utah County are still being counted. Love has to defend accusations about illegal campaign funds, while McAdams says that these accusations show corruption in Washington. Voters in Utah County waited in 4-hour lines for their turn to fill the ballot for midterm elections. The cause of these long lines is still up for debate. Governor Gary Herbert blames it on the bad leadership in Utah County. But Utah County election officials say it's because there was a much larger voter turnout than expected and that the ballot itself was time-consuming.
An elementary school in Bountiful was on lockdown due to threats. The threats came yesterday from a woman who suffers from mental illness. The 33-year-old Aubrey Gabbett was arrested because she threatened Muir Elementary School around 10:30 a.m. Gabbett played loud music and honked her car's horn in the school parking lot. She was arrested on charges of stalking, threatening terrorism, phone harassment, and disrupting the school.
The Utah State Auditor released a performance audit on educator misconduct in public education. According to the audit, the local education agency failed to report several cases of educator misconduct. Incompetent behavior, sexual misconduct, and unethical actions all fall under the umbrella of misconduct. The audit also found that teachers who were not reported on may have led to further misconduct in later teaching jobs. Finally, past cases of misconduct aren't very accessible to the local education agency. The final statement says, quote, "The Utah State Board of Education is committed to continuous improvement." Having old prescription drugs in your medicine cabinet might seem normal, but reporter Jasmine Haruni talked to Utah Valley Hospital pharmacist about why it's a big no-no. Jasmine, what should people do with their leftover medication?
Well, they should get rid of it as soon as possible, and there's a simple way to do it. This is a med box, or a medication drop-off box. Doctors and pharmacists are hoping that boxes like this will help alleviate what some call the opioid epidemic in Utah. A big part of the problem is that people who have legitimately prescribed painkillers just don't get rid of the extra.
Have a good one. You might think that I'll need that medication down the road if I'm ever in pain again.
In the last decade, prescription pain medications have been responsible for more deaths in Utah than all other drugs combined, with about 7,000 opioid prescriptions filled every day in the state.
If there's controlled substances in the household that aren't being used, then there is a potential that somebody could be seeking out those medications and could take them when they're not intended to be used for them.
So instead of holding on to those drugs, the motto to live by is, if you don't use it, lose it. You don't want to throw away your bottles because of the personal information printed on them. You don't want to flush the medication because of trace amounts that could end up in our water system. And if you keep your medication for a rainy day, you might be harming yourself by using expired medication or the wrong dosage.
So the longer the medication is expired, the more the ingredients will degrade and they could cause more harm to the individual.
Drug disposal boxes are the safest way to go, and you can find them pretty easily in places like pharmacies and police departments. The boxes are completely confidential and secure. Once it's full, the pharmacy or police department ships it off to a third party to dispose of the drugs safely, according to federal regulations. To find a med box near you, check your local pharmacy or go to useonlyasdirected.org and type in your zip code.
Thanks, Jasmine. The Boy Scouts of America are being sued. We'll let you know who is suing them and why.
I saw the statement on my phone from Sarah Sanders that my press credentials were being revoked.
CNN reporter Jim Acosta has his White House credentials revoked after a heated discussion with President Trump.
And a team of engineers at BYU created one of the most unlikely canoes. We'll show you the boat that you have to see to believe.
You're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk. No matter what you're going through, I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
What?
Attorney General Jeff Sessions has stepped down after President Trump asked him to do so, effectively firing him. Sessions was one of Trump's earliest supporters, but since Sessions chose not to lead the Russia investigation, Trump has not been shy about disliking him.
He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this?
Sessions chose not to lead the Russia investigation because he was part of Trump's 2016 campaign. He did not want his involvement in the campaign to affect the outcome of the investigation. In his resignation letter, he said, quote, I have been honored to serve as an attorney general and have worked to implement the law enforcement agenda based on the rule of law. Trump appointed Sessions' chief of staff, Matt Whitaker, to take over the department for now, but he has yet to choose the new permanent attorney general.
The White House has revoked a CNN reporter's press pass after a heated news conference.
There was an officer who stood in front of the doorway.
Reporter Jim Acosta was denied access to the White House after his press pass was revoked by the president. In the exchange between the president and Acosta yesterday, the president called him a terrible person after he continued asking the president questions. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders accused Acosta of placing his hands on a White House intern who tried to grab the microphone from him. Video from the press conference is having many question the validity of Sanders' statement. And Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is in the hospital this morning after falling and fracturing 3 ribs last night. The Supreme Court Public Information Officer said she fell in her court office yesterday. She will be looked after at George Washington University Hospital. Ginsburg has been a justice on the High Court since 1993.
Almost 2 years after his capture, El Chapo is now preparing for his trial on his crimes. A jury of 12 people was selected for his case just yesterday. Because of the violent history of El Chapo, all of the 12 jurors will remain anonymous. They will only be identified by a number. The groups include 5 men and 7 women, and an additional 6 alternatives. And the Girl Scouts of America is suing the Boy Scouts of America for trademark infringement. The issue is the new name of the Boy Scouts. The group is changing the name to Scouts BSA and also welcoming girls. The Girl Scouts contend that the group doesn't have the right to use the words scout or scouting. And they argue that the Girl Scouts brand is going to suffer. They also say the Boy Scouts name change is causing confusion, leading many to think that Girl Scouts no longer exist as a separate entity. The lawsuit seeks monetary damages and a permanent injunction against trademark infringement.
Precision Vision in Spanish Fork held a charity event yesterday giving away free eye exams and glasses. Newsline reporter Chris Torres tells us how the gift came just in time for Thanksgiving.
On a typical Wednesday, Precision Vision usually sees about a dozen patients. On this day, it's almost double. The office is trying something new to give back to their community for Thanksgiving. Their manufacturer sponsors a program called Life Through Lenses, donating free glasses to those in need. So the office is matching that with a contribution of their own, free exams.
Why not do a charity event, give back for Thanksgiving?
Austin Aylworth is working double duty today to accommodate their packed schedule. News of the charity event spread quickly, and Precision Vision is now offering relief to people who might not have been able to afford glasses otherwise.
I noticed that I wasn't seeing very well, so that's why I came, because I need glasses. It bothers me a lot that I can't see well, a lot. That's why sometimes everything's so blurry. I just can't make things out.
Paul Jensen is a student who came in for his exam today. After he left the examination room, he had good news.
He said I had 20/20 vision.
The PJ is lucky among his peers, many of whom wear glasses and some of which he claims struggled to see in school.
Some kid that was sat in the back, he had to move forward because he couldn't see the board. And he doesn't have glasses, but he needs them.
Eyes are everything, right? Without your vision, you can't drive, you can't work really.
And so, what better gift to give for Thanksgiving than the gift of sight? For Newsline in Spanish Fork, I'm Chris Torres.
If you ever thought concrete couldn't float, think again. A team of BYU students are constructing a canoe made completely out of concrete.
Newsline reporter Cameron Hussein joins us now. Cameron, why are these students building a canoe from concrete?
The students are building it to compete in the National Concrete Canoe Competition, which is held every spring by the American Society of Civil Engineers.
The project consists of more than 8 months of planning, over 500 work hours, and more than 25 undergraduate engineers. While competing, students are also able to gain skills they couldn't get in a classroom setting.
It allows students to get a hands-on experience outside of college, and it's more like what they'll experience in industry.
The competition consists of 4 parts: the physical design of the canoe, a technical paper detailing the design process, an oral presentation, and the actual racing of the canoes. Team members are assigned to various roles to focus on doing a good job as well as increase their knowledge and experience.
I think it's a really great opportunity to be innovative and try different things and see how it works and test the results. Well, that's been a really, really neat experience, as well as having an opportunity to work with my peers and help other students learn about concrete, how it works, and that as we're learning together, we can each time get better.
The team spends the fall semester designing, making computer drawings, and deciding on a concrete mix. The actual construction of the canoe takes place during the winter semester. Students say the experience and opportunities that come from this competition are just as valuable as the competition itself.
It's helped me gain some experience, and it also helped me get my foot in the door for some internships that I've received in the past, just because of this technical aspect that I've had that other applicants don't have.
To follow the BYU Concrete Canoe team throughout the year, you can visit their Facebook page at facebook.com/BYU Concrete Canoe.
Thanks, Cameron.
And a sweet photo out of Pennsylvania. Rainy weather wasn't going to stop this couple from hitting the polls on Election Day. And the Cornwallis Fire Company wanted to make sure they got there nice and dry. The 2 members of Station 16 were at the polls to advocate support for fire departments, but instead they ended up being the ones lending the helping hand. And here in Utah, it's another dry week for us. If you look here, this is Alta Ski Resort, and unfortunately no new snow. This is from a couple days ago, but we do have freezing temperatures, which means our ski resorts can start pumping snow across our resorts. So that's great to hear. And looking at our highs across the state, like I mentioned, it is cold, no storms, just really, really low temperatures, 40s across most of the state, 60 degrees down in St. George. So definitely colder than normal, Blanding 46, lows across the state. Look at Logan. 13 degrees. That is so cold. In Salt Lake, 25 degrees, 19 in Provo. St. George even pushing those freezing temperatures with 34 degrees. And let's take a look at our southern 5-day forecast. Like I mentioned, sun across the board, nice and sunny, but it is misleading because we do have lower temperatures. And in our night, going down to about 30 degrees across the week. Our 5-day forecast for southern Utah, taking a look, for northern Utah, sun today and tomorrow, and then as we head into the weekend, we will see some clouds, but unfortunately no rain or snow with those clouds, still just some dry weather, and we will have colder temperatures. So if you have plans to head outside, it's great. Just make sure you're bundled up and ready to go because it is freezing out there.
Yeah, it's definitely November.
Yes.
Not getting snow yet. very cold.
So, I know.
So
You feel like there needs to be snow because it's
I
so
know, I
cold,
kind of
right?
feel like it's
Yes.
cold. Time for snow.
Right.
Once the snow shows up, though, it doesn't leave. So BYU golf makes a big impact at St. Mary's Invitational, taking home a win, or at least most of one. Find out who won when we get back. The Jazz break their losing streak, but will they be able to keep it that way?
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
BYU Cougars Peter Quest took first in the St. Mary's Golf Invitational. Quest has won 2 other tournaments this season already. He tied for the 54-hole record at the course with a total of 200, which is 13 under par. BYU took second overall, just behind USC. BYU women's volleyball keeps going strong. They have 5 games left this season, and their last home games are this week. The first is tonight against Santa Clara at 7 p.m. Then the final one is Saturday at 1 p.m. against San Francisco. After that, the final 3 games will be in California. After 2 injury scares for Donovan Mitchell, he is back.
They're competing at both ends. Oh, Donovan.
Mitchell missed Monday's game for a sprained ankle, and just a week ago he was pulled out against the Timberwolves in the 4th quarter for hamstring tightness, which also pulled him out for the Grizzlies game. 1 game later, he was out again. He rejoined the team last night and played against the Dallas Mavericks and looked beautiful. Jazz won 117-102. Mitchell comes back just in time as the Jazz face off against the Boston Celtics and former Jazz player Gordon Hayward tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. The LA Lakers beat the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, winning 114-110. LeBron chose to rock the headband again and was just short of a triple-double. The Toronto Raptors beat the Sacramento Kings last night 114-105. The Raptors' Kawhi Leonard led the game in scoring with 25 points. The Raptors face the New York Knicks this Saturday. The Washington Capitals beat the Pittsburgh Penguins last night 2-1.
Issue on the entry in that last attempt.
After taking a couple shots to the head, one by a high stick in the first period and the other by a shoulder tackle from Penguins' Evgeny Malkin, Capitals' TJ Oshie proved his resilience, returning to action to score the game-winning goal. The Calgary Flames faced off against the Anaheim Ducks last night. The Ducks got a 2-point lead, but by the 3rd period, they were tied 2-2. The Ducks scored 1 more goal and with 30 seconds left, cleared the goal to secure the win. Ducks win 3-2. We'll be right back.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday?
Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at savethefood.com.
Well, we all know why the chicken crossed the road, but what about the salmon? Well, for these fish in Washington state, it was to give birth. That's according to the woman who filmed it. Alexis Leonard, a fish hatchery specialist, spotted over a dozen salmon swimming across Highway 101 on Saturday. The roadway was flooded at the time, which made the trek much easier for the mothers to be. According to Leonard, this isn't an unusual sight in Washington, but it sure makes for great video.
I think that's just crazy. Like swimming across the road. What makes a fish like?
That is so.
That's
cool. What if the car hits the fish?
I know. I mean,
they're troopers.
They're
They'll get back out.
There are places to go. They're fine.
They'll make it.
Yeah, just crazy. That's our show for Thursday, November 8th.
Thanks for joining us and have a great day.